And welcome back to the Stone Dogs 40k. We're playing a Eternal War mission from Chapter Approved 2018. This is called The Four Pillars. This is Space Marines versus Necrons. Now this is my first play of Necrons using only 700 points, partly because that's all I've got, but partly because I thought start small and learn the army from the ground up. So this is the battlefield. We've got 4 objectives, number 3 and number 1, number 4 and number 2. Any player that controls one of those, any player that holds more than their opponent scores 1 victory point at the end of the battle round, and any player that holds all 4 at the end of the battle round scores 3 victory points. That's called Siphon Power. And then we're playing no prisoners as well, so we score 1 victory point if more units from the opponent's army are destroyed during that battle round, and also Slay the Warlord, First Strike and Line Breaker. We're also going to be playing 3 tactical objectives per turn. Now, because this is only 700 points, it was really difficult to get to a state of being battleforged for Necrons. So what we're doing is we're just giving each side 5 command points. So the tactical objectives for the Space Marines, they've got Kingslayer, mission critical objective, which is number 4. We already pre-rolled for that one, and then overwhelming firepower. And then for the Necrons, we've got Master the Warp, Big Game Hunter, Age of the Machine. Now Master the Warp won't actually come into play in this battle, so we're going to draw another one. And we get Assassinate. So that's the 3 tactical objectives for the Necrons. These are the Necrons. So we've got 3 10-man Necron warrior squads. A Overlord at the front here with the scythe and the orb. And we've got a Annihilation Barge, and then 2 Canoptic Wraiths. Should be 3, one of them's having a paint job at the moment, so we're going with 2. So it's actually 707 points of Necrons. And we're going to be doing, because there's no Battleforged in this game, so we're giving each side 5 command points. And we're also using tactical objectives, of which there will be 3. So this is 708 points worth of Space Marines. We've got the Gravis Captain with Power Sword and Boltstorm Gauntlet, squad of 5 Hellblasters, squad of 5 Reavers, 2 squads of 5 Intercessors, and the Speeder over the back there. 708 points. So deployment is Dawn of War, which is the deployment where you have 12 inches running down the long edges of each side of the battlefield. Space Marines have deployed on this side, so we've got the Hellblasters here and the Speeder behind this rock, 2 squads of Intercessors and the Captain, and then the Reavers are in high orbit on their grav chutes. And then over this side, Necron Warriors over this side, the Wraiths, and then 2 squads of Necron Warriors with the Overlord, and finally the Annihilation Barge over on this flank. So it's the end of turn 1 movement for the Necrons. The Annihilation Barge has just moved around the building. Just a normal move on these Warriors and the Overlord. Normal move here and here. The Wraiths have just moved forwards from behind the tree, and then this unit of Warriors has advanced just to get onto this objective, because even with that they're still miles out of range in terms of shooting. So That's all the movement done. No psychic at this stage. So we're going to start the shooting phase next. The Annihilation Barge is going to shoot its twin Tesla Destructor into the Hellblasters. So that's 8 shots, and 6s cause 3 hits instead of 1. Okay, so that's 6 hits. That's it. No, ballistic skill is 3. I do apologise. So those all hit. So that's 2, 4. That's 10 hits. Okay, that's 10. Strength is 7. So wounding on 3s. That's not so great. That's 4 wounds. There's no AP. 3 up saves. Okay, so we do manage to take out 1 Hellblaster. We've then got 10 Necron warrior shots into the same unit. Now, what I neglected to do was take into account potential cover from this piece of terrain in this shot, so I will do so from here. So these are hitting on 4s. And wounding on 4s. Okay, no wounds. Now what I should have done is used my will be done on that unit from the Overlord, which would have given +1 to hit rolls until the beginning of the next turn. So I must remember that for next time around. Let's move on to the next unit. Okay, so same here, 10 shots through to the Hellblasters, hitting on 4s. That's a bit better. And wounding on 4s with a 3 up save, and they are all good. Okay, so there are no charges to declare. Everything's still too far away. So therefore there will be no fight phase and there is no morale phase. So that's the end of turn 1 for the Necrons. Let's just have a look at tactical objectives. So pretty sure we haven't got any of these. Assassinate, take out a character, big game hunter, take out something with 10 wounds or more, and then Age of the Machine, destroy an enemy vehicle. So nothing scored there. Potentially some points for objectives because we're sitting on 2 and 4, but we'll see what happens at the end of the battle round. So Space Marines turn number 1 is coming right up. End of Space Marines movement for turn number 1, and the Hellblasters have just popped out onto objective number 1, which is just there. The speeder has just whizzed around to take up this covering position. Captain and 1 unit of intercessors just here, 2nd unit of intercessors just here, and finally, as it's the end of the movement phase, the Reavers on their grav chutes are going to drop in over in the back line of the Necrons in order to achieve line breaker, which is fine just where they are. In fact, they can just shunt forwards just a touch. So that's the end of the movement phase. No psychic, so shooting is next. So I'm going to start with this unit of intercessors shooting into the Necron warriors over on the far right of the Necron line. So 5 shots hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, and they are all saved. Correction, there is 1 that goes through. They have a 4 up save, so one of those guys is taken out. Pop them over to the side there because you never know. And then we'll do 5 shots from this unit into that unit over there. Re-rolling for the captain. No. 4s to wound. 4 up saves. Okay, and 2 are taken from that unit. 1, 2, and then we're going to do 4 of the Hellblasters into the Annihilation Barge, and we're going to have a bit of a risk, and we're going to supercharge this, or are we? No, we're not going to supercharge, so hitting on 3s, although hitting on 4s because it's a heavy weapon. And it's strength 8, toughness 6, so 3s to wound. Oh, terrible. Okay, going to command point one of those. Okay, so that hits, that wounds. So it's -4 AP, and the Annihilation Barge cannot save against it, but it only does 1 damage. So the Annihilation Barge is down to 7 wounds. Quantum shielding would have done no use there anyway. So there we go, 7 wounds on the barge. Then we've got the land speeder, which is here, and this is all going to shoot into so assault cannon and heavy bolter. So I think we're probably going to go everything into the strength 6 and strength 5. I think we're going to go everything into the Necrons right there. So we've got heavy 6 for the assault cannon, moved, so hitting on 4s, 4 hits, strength 6, toughness 4, so 3s to wound, and -1 AP, so it's 5 ups. Okay, so that's another 2 killed. And then we've got heavy 3 for the heavy bolter, so hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, does not wound. Okay, so that's another 2 Necrons out of that squad. So that's the end of the shooting phase, and the end of Space Marines turn number 1 also. So we need to look at objectives, and we'll look at stratagems first for the Space Marines. So overwhelming firepower, 1 enemy unit destroyed, no. Mission critical objective 4, that's on the other side of the table, so no. And then Kingslayer to kill the Warlord, that is a no. Let's have a look at the mission objectives. Okay, so the mission objective has not been achieved by either side. Have to hold more than your opponent, which we do not, because it's currently 2 each. And if you hold all 4, it's 3 victory points. So 0 points scored on either side at the end of battle round number 1. Right, of course I forgot about line breaker for the Space Marines. So the Space Marines are on 1 victory point and the Necrons are on 0. Before we go into the turn 2 proper for Necrons, we'll just do reanimation protocols. So on a 5+, these guys come back. So we've got 2 back in that unit. 1, 2, and then over here, and he is slain. Okay, turn number 2 coming right up. Okay, so the other thing that we need to do for this turn is the Annihilation Barge has the ability Living Metal, so he actually regains that lost wound. So he's back up to full strength. End of the movement phase, and the barge has just reversed back to the maximum distance for its range, which is 24 inches. This unit and the Overlord have just moved up slightly. And then we've got the 2 Necron units have just kind of converged over here, both to kind of get away from this unit a little bit more, but also to close range on the intercessors. And then the 2 wraiths, there are actually 3 wraiths, but you can't see one. It's got an invisibility cloak on it. The 3 wraiths have just moved up from behind this building just to get into charge range of the intercessors and the Space Marine Warlord. So shooting phase is next. So Gauss cannon into the speeder and the twin Tesla destructor into the... We're all going to put it all into the speeder. There we go. So heavy 3, hitting on 4s, 2 hits, strength 6 versus toughness 5, so 3s to wound, and we get no wounds. And we've got the Tesla destructor, which is 8 shots, hitting on 3s. Okay, and we've got 2 6s in there, so that's 3 hits apiece. 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Back up to 8 hits. Strength 7 versus toughness toughness 5, so 3s to wound. Those are all wounds, and it's 0 AP, so it's a 3-up save. Okay, so 1 wound goes through. That drops the speeder down to 5 wounds. We've got 8 shots from the Necron warriors. This is going into the speeder again, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s with a -1 AP, so it's a 4-up save. Wowzer. Okay, another 2 wounds off the speeder. Okay, and then we've got 19 shots from these 2 units, which are going straight into that unit of intercessors. So hitting on 3s. And wounding on 4s. And they're 4-up saves. 1, 2, 3 dead intercessors. So that is the end of the shooting phase for the Necrons. It is now the charge phase. The only relevant charge that we've got is the 3 wraiths into the intercessors and the Warlord. So they all get to fire Overwatch. So we'll do the Captain's Boltstorm Gauntlet first, which gets 2 hits. Sorry, 1 hit. And it is strength 4 versus toughness 5, so it's a 5 to wound. It does not wound. And then we've got 2, 4, 5 bolter shots for 0 hits. So the charge is easily successful on a 5. So the wraiths are all in combat. So the wraiths get 9 attacks between the 3 of them, and they are hitting on 3s. These are all going into the intercessors. So we get 6 hits, and these are strength 6 versus toughness 4, so 3s to wound, and that's 3 wounds, and they're -2 AP, so 5-up saves. Okay, so that is 1 intercessor killed, and now they all get to fight back. So we've got the sergeant, 1, 2, 3 troopers, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s, 4-up saves. Okay, so one of them takes 1 wound, so that's one of those guys down to 2 wounds. And then we've got the captain, who going to attack with his power fist, so 4 attacks, re-rolling. So 4 hits, strength 8, so 3s to wound. Come on, stop rolling. Oh, that's a shame. 2 wounds. Come on, point re-roll. Okay, 3 wounds. And these are -3 AP, so the wraiths can't save against that, so these are D3 damage apiece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that takes out the wraith on 2 wounds and the invisible one on 3 wounds. So we'll remove that fella. Consolidate. And that is the end of the fight phase. Still learning the rules. So the Canoptic Wraith has Wraith Form, which is a 3+ invuln. So, bearing in mind we took 5 wounds. Okay, so that actually means that the Wraith that was on 2 wounds is killed. However, the second one, which we removed, is actually still alive and kicking, so we'll stick him back in. There we go. So that's the end of turn number 2 for the Necrons. We will just quickly do the reanimation protocols. So we've got 3 Necrons. Okay, none of them are coming back this turn. So it's turn 2 for Space Marines next. So turn 2 for Space Marines, and we have just shunted the remaining 2 intercessors into cover just here, and the Reavers have moved up from the back line over the back there. Other than that, everything else is staying put. So we've got heavy weapons here which we need to get a better hit roll on, so those are staying where they are. So that's it for movement. Shooting is next. So 5 pistol shots going into this unit of Necrons, hitting on 3s, they all hit. Wounding on 4s, we get 1 wound, and it is not saved, so 1 more of those guys is out of action for now. And then we've got 2 bolt guns into the same unit, both hit. Neither wound. Okay then, pistol shots. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 for the troopers and the Boltstorm Gauntlet on the captain. Re-rolling. So that's 6 hits, 3s to wound. Sorry, 5s to wound, I should say. 3 wounds and 3 up in bone. Okay, that's another 2 wounds. Puts one of those guys down to 1 wound. And then finally over here, so we've got 4 shots from the heavies into this squad, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, 3s I should say, and minus whatever it is, -3 AP for the plasma, -4 AP, so that's another 2 out of that squad. 1, ooh, 2. So what I'm doing with these as I take them out is just leaving them over on the back line, because obviously I've got a re-roll for those coming back on. And then we've got the speeder next. So assault cannon first, straight ahead, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s. -1 AP, so 5 ups. And they save 2, so that's another 2 gone. And then we've got the heavy bolter, which is heavy 3 again, so hitting on 3s, 1 hit. Strength 5, so 3 to wound. Wounds, and it's -1 AP, not saved, so that's another 3 of those Necron warriors killed. So that is the end of the shooting phase for the Space Marines. So we're just going to look at charges, and I want to see if I can charge this unit of Reavers in to this unit of Necrons. So there's 8 Overwatch shots. Hitting on 6s. So that's 3 hits, 4s to wound, 3 wounds, 4 up saves, and they are all saved. And then we need to roll we need to roll 8 to get in. Command point reroll. Failed. Failed charge. That's a shame. That's the end of the charge phase. Fight phase is next. So I'm going to start with the captain first. 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, re-rolling. They all hit. Strength is 8, so wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. Not forgetting their 3 up invuln. They are both saved. Okay, then the Space Marines, 3 for the Sergeant, 4, 5, 6, okay, hitting on 3s, no rerolls, wounding on 5s, and again 3 up invuln, all saved. So 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, and a 5 up save, 2 go through for 2 damage. That's 2 dead intercessors. Okay, that's the end of the fight phase. Morale, they're good. Not sure that actually Necrons can fail morale, but they're a leadership 10 anyway, so it doesn't matter. Right, good. Okay, that's the end of battle round number 2. Again, 0 points scored on either side. That's my mistake actually. The Necrons have got 2. The Space Marines have only got 1, so the Necrons win that that battle round. Necrons turn 3 coming up. So into the movement phase for the Necrons, the barges move forwards 12 inches. These guys have stayed put, and this unit has spun around to face off against the Reavers, and this unit of Necrons has just moved forwards to start challenging the intercessors. The Wraiths have stayed put. Shooting phase is next. So this is the shooting phase for Necrons turn number 3. Before we go any further, I should just say that I did roll for reanimation protocols and got 4 of these Necron warriors back. So anyway, we're going to start over this side, and we've got 8 shots from the Necron warriors into the Reavers. That's 5 hits. And forced wound, 3 wounds, and they're -1 AP, so 4 up saves. Okay, so 1 wound makes it through. We've then got 10 shots from this unit into the intercessors. So 7, 8, 9, 10. Hitting on 3s, should be 4s because they're in cover. There we go. Force the wound. 4 up save, and they are all good. And then we'll do these guys here, so that's 7 into the speeder. Okay, 1 wound and not saved, so that's another wound off the speeder. Down to 2. And then finally the Annihilation Barge. So let's do the heavy first. So 3 shots into the speeder, hitting on 4s. does not wound. And then we've got 8 shots for the other weapon. That makes 3. Whoops. Okay. I think those are hits as well, sorry, wounds as well. Let me just double check. They are indeed. So 3 up saves, and they are all saved. So that's the end of the shooting phase. It's the charge phase next. So we've got a charge here. So 5 shots from the Reavers. No hits. Charge of 4, easily doable. And then we've got this squad going into the intercessors, so 2 shots from the intercessors, no hits, and the charge, again easily doable. There we go. So Necron fight phase for turn 3, and we'll start here. So we've got 8 attacks from the Necrons into the Reavers, hitting on 3s. Not particularly great. 4s to wound, 1 wound, and this is a 3 up save, which is saved. And then we've got 3 for the sergeant. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got another 5 for combat knives, hitting on 3s. Whoops. Winning on 4s. 4 up saves. So that is 2 dead Necron warriors. There we go. Moving over to this squad. So 10 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, 3 up saves, takes a wound, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, 4 up saves. The Canoptic Wraiths, all attacks into the intercessors, so these hit on 3s, and they wound on 3s, and they are -2 AP, so 5s to save, 2 go through, and they're 2 damage each, so that takes out that intercessor, and it leaves the sergeant on 1 wound. Sergeant hits back, re-rolling for the captain, and does not wound. And then we've got the captain, 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 8, so wounding on 3s, -3 AP, but they've got a invuln, I believe, of 3+, which is saved. They are tough units to crack. That is the end of the fight phase, and the end of turn number 3 for the Necrons. So turn number 3 for the Space Marines, and I've elected not to move anything. And the reason being that everything is either in combat or in easy shooting range, and because these have got heavy weapons on, if I move, it reduces their effectiveness. So we're going to go straight into the shooting phase. So I'm going to attempt to wipe out that Necron squad with the land speeder. So we're going to do assault cannon first. So 6 shots, hitting on 3s. 5 hits. Strength is 6, so 3s to wound. 3 wounds. And these are -1 AP, so 5 up saves. Right, so that's 2 down. And then we've got the heavy bolter. So 3 shots, hitting on 3s. 2 hits. Strength is 5, so 3s to wound. Both wound. And again, -1 AP, so 5s. And that's another one down. So they take out 3. That leaves 4. So we're going to shoot the plasma cannon into the other 4. 4 shots, hitting on 3s. Going to command point that one. So they all hit. 3s to wound. Oh. And they are -4 AP, so they can't save against that. So that is 6 out of that 7 down. That's really annoying. Okay, so we've got 4 bolt pistol shots into the wraiths. 3 hits. And no wounds. Whoops. We've got 4 bolt pistol shots here. These guys haven't moved. All hit. 1 wound. Not saved. So that's another guy gone from that unit. And then we've got the final squad over the far side there. Again, they haven't moved, so that's going to be 10 shots. 10 shots hitting on 3s. Winning on 4s. With a 4 up save. 1 more goes down. So now into the Space Marines fight phase. So 3, 4 plus 5 combat knives. So the Reavers attacking the Warriors, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. With 4 up saves. Oh, that was a 3. Wherever it's gone. So that is 5 wounds. So that is enough to take out the rest of that squad. And then we've got these guys in the corner here. So 3, 4, 5. Hitting on 3s. Oh, he's within 6 inches of the captain. Wounding on 4s. 4 up saves. They're both good. 2, 4, 6, 8 warriors hitting back. 4s to wound. 3 up saves. They're all good. So we'll do the sergeant first. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, re-rolling. 2 hits, wounding on 5s. 1 wound. 3 up invuln. He's good. 4 attacks from the captain, re-rolling. 3 hits, wounding on 3s. All wound. 3 up invuln. So that means that that wraith there on 1 wound is destroyed. And that is the end of the Space Marines turn for turn 3 and the end of battle round number 3. Although he does have explodes, which he does not explode. So at the end of battle round number 3, the points are... There's no points scored for being on more objectives because both sides are on one. However, the Space Marines did destroy the squad of 10 Necron warriors that were here. The Necrons, however, have failed to destroy a complete unit on the Space Marine side, so the Space Marines get 1 extra victory point. And that puts them on 2, I believe. There's a 2 on there somewhere. There it is. So they're on 2. I didn't actually achieve any of these. Warlords not destroyed. Mission critical is number 4. Overwhelming firepower. Score 1 victory point if an enemy unit was destroyed during the shooting phase of your turn, which wasn't the case because that was destroyed in the fight phase. Okay, so it's 2-1 to Space Marines as we go into battle round number 4. Okay, so Necrons reanimation protocols, we've got 3 back here and an additional 1 back over here, so still in the fight in terms of movement. You know what, there really isn't any movement. I think what I want to try and do is get this Overlord into combat over here actually, so what we will do is we'll move these units. So he's going to move to there. These guys will just move up as well. And I'm just going to bring this guy over to here just to get line of sight on the Hellblasters. So that is movement. So we're going into the shooting phase next. So Annihilation Barge, heavy, what's it called? It's called a Gauss Cannon. So 3 shots heavy going into the land speeder, hitting on 4s, 2 hits. And this is a strength 6 weapon versus toughness 5, so 3s to wound, 2 wounds, -3 AP, 6 up save, both failed, and D3 damage. So it's going to be a destroyed speeder with 3 wounds. It's only got 2 left. Does it explode? Yes, it does. So each unit within 3 inches suffers 1 mortal wound. So that's going to be a mortal wound on the Hellblasters. There we go. So this guy is kaput. Okay, and then we've got 8 shots from the whatever it's called, the twin Tesla destructor. So another 4 of those, 8 shots hitting on 3s, not too shabby. This is strength 7, so wounding on 3s, 5 wounds. There's 0 AP, so it's a 3 up save, 2 are failed, and it does 1 damage a pop, so that takes out 1 more Hellblaster. Take that guy from there. So we've got 4 of the warriors shooting at the Hellblasters. 2 hits, 2 wounds, and neither of those are saved, so that's another one down. What we're going to do, if I can get him out of the movement tray, I'll just plop those 2 there, and he's on 1 wound. And I think that's about it for shooting. So we're now into the charge phase. impossible to get a charge off on these Necron warriors. So we're going to do that. The Hell Blasters are obviously going to fire Overwatch, which they miss. These guys need, I think, could be a 10. Yeah, so they need a 10 to get in. And they get a 7. I'm going to command point that. Oh. Okay, not to worry. That's the end of the charge phase. Fight phase is next. So 3 attacks from the Wraith into the Sergeant. Just find the profile. So 3 attacks which hit on 3s. And they wound on 3s. And they are -2 AP. One is saved, one is not. Does 2 damage. That guy is killed. And then we've got the Captain who's going to fight back. 4 hits. Oh, that's terrible. 1 wound. 3 up invuln, which is saved. And then over to these units just here. So we've got 4, 6, 8, 9 warriors hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, 3 up saves. That's 1 dead intercessor. Sergeant fighting back, all hit. 2 wounds, and 1 is killed. So, at the end of the Necron turn, for turn number 4, still no advantage on the objectives on the table. They're holding 1 each, so nobody has the advantage there. However, the Necrons have killed the land speeder, which gives them the victory point. They also get another victory point for taking out the first of the 2 intercessor squads just here. So that puts the Necrons on 3 and the Space Marines are on 2. Space Marines turn number 4 is coming up next. So in the movement for the Space Marines for turn number 4, just move the Reavers onto the objective just here. Hopefully if the Hellblasters can hold on this objective, we'll get a point. Just suddenly realised that I think I've been making a mistake with the invuln on the Wraiths at a 3+, with the Boltstorm Gauntlet in melee at -3 AP. I believe they should have rolled a 6+ instead of a 3+. So I think those Wraiths probably would have been destroyed by now, but that's it, I made a mistake, so we'll see what happens this turn. So that's the end of the fight phase, the movement phase. We're going to do shooting next, so we've got bolt pistol, 2 shots, both miss, 1 can be re-rolled, so that's 1 hit, 1 wound, not saved, so that's one of these guys knocked out at least. We've got 3 bolt pistol shots here into the Wraith, 2 hits, 1 wound, which is saved, and then we're going to do the 2 plasma. Whatever I do, it's only 1 wound each, so we're going to do 2 plasmas into the Necrons again. 1 hit, strength is 8. So 1 wound, but it is -4 AP, so they can't save it. So one of those guys is taken out at least. That's the end of the shooting phase. Fight phase is next. So 3 attacks from the Sergeant, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, with a 4 up. That's another casualty. And then we've got 6 attacks back, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, with a 3 up save is saved. And then to this combat, so 4 attacks from the captain. Let's see if I can get this right this time. Hitting on 2s, re-rolling, 3, 4 hits, wounding on 3s, 3 wounds. Now these are -3 AP, so with a, I'm pretty sure that's right, with an invuln of 3+, that makes it a 6+. None of them are saved, and that does D3 wounds apiece. 3, 4, 5, 6. With that guy on 3 wounds, does he explode? No, he does not. Just wonder if I should use... Yeah, no, there's no other saves on that unit, so he is destroyed. So there's nothing really that can charge the captain to get into this. Well, I suppose the captain could potentially charge around the corner into this unit. Let's see what we can do. 10. Of course, we can't do that because that would be cheating. So that's the end of the Space Marine turn for turn number 4. So in terms of points, Necrons have this one, Space Marines have this one and this one, so they get a point for that. They also get a point for destroying the last of the Wraiths, so that's 2 additional points. Overwhelming firepower. No, they don't get that one because that's the shooting phase again. So the Space Marines are now on 4 points as opposed to 3 for the Necrons. So reanimation protocols for this unit, and we are getting 4 back. So what I'll do is I'll put that 7 in and take that 3 out. And then over here we've got 4 and we get another 3. So that puts that unit pretty much back up to full strength. Now you may be wondering why all the attacks are going in when they're 3 deep. I'm just doing that because I'm assuming that they've piled in, just to keep them in their trays and make it nice and tidy. Okay, movement. What are we moving? We are going to move the Annihilation Barge . No, we're not. We're going to leave it where it is. But we are going to move this unit and the Overlord. So they're all going to go forwards 5 inches to there. That's movement done. It's shooting next. So 3 heavy shots into the Hellblasters, hitting on 3s. They all hit, and they are strength 6, wounding on 3s, 2 wounds, 6 up saves. Look at that. Okay. And we've got 8 shots hitting on 3s. And strength is 7, so again 3s to wound, 4 wounds. And these are 0 AP, so 3 up saves. And they're all saved. We've got 7 shots from these guys into the Hellblasters. 3 hits, 4s to wound, and 4 up save. Saved. Okay, that's everything that can shoot. So it's now the charge phase. So we're going to try and charge here. 2 shots from the Hellblasters, 1 hits, 2 to wound, which wounds, and can't save against it, so one of those guys is knocked out straight away. Do they make it in? They do indeed. And then the Overlord. Gonna re-roll that. Okay, so the Overlord makes it in as well. And they lose a command point. That's it for charges. Fight phase is next. So we've got 6 attacks from the Necron warriors into the Hellblasters, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, with a 3-up save. I'm going to roll that again because that just dropped out of my hand. There we go, saved. Hellblasters will hit back, 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, 4-up saves. 1 more is killed. And then we've got the Overlord, who gets 3 attacks, hitting on 2s. They all hit. Strength is 5, so 3 is to wound. 1 wound, and it is -3 AP, so a 6, which is not saved. And it does 1 damage, so that is that guy killed. And we'll come over this side, so we've got 9 Necron warriors here, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, with a 4-up save. So Sergeant takes a wound, and then gets to hit back. 3 hits, 2 wounds, and not saved. So that's 2 more of those guys out of action. So that is the end of the Necron turn. So, Space Marines movement for turn number 5, and we've moved the Reavers forward to get into charge range to support this lonely intercessor, and the Captain in Gravis armour has moved across to engage the Overlord in the charge phase. So the shooting phase is next. And in terms of what can shoot, really, it's a bolt pistol there, so 2 shots hitting on 3s, wounding on a 4, no wounds, and a bolt pistol there, no wounds. Okay, charge phase. So let's roll for the captain first, and he rolls a 7, so that'll easily put him into combat. And then we need to roll for the Reavers, and again that will easily put them into combat. Charges are over, and fight phase is next. So 3 attacks from the Hellblaster into the Necrons, 2 hits, 1 wound, which is saved, and then they will fight back. 5 attacks, winning on 4s, with a 3-up save, which is saved. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fight the captain into the Overlord. So 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, re-rolling. 3 hits, strength is 8, so 3s to wound, 1 wound, it's -3 AP. So with an invuln of 4+, that means he'd need to roll a 7. So I'm going to say that that's D3 damage for 3. So he has 2 wounds left. He's then going to fight back, so 3 attacks, hitting on 2s. They all hit. And wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. -3 AP. Neither are saved, 1 damage each. So that puts the captain down to 3 wounds. Sorry, my mistake, 4 wounds. Starts off with 6. So that is the end of that combat. Let's head over here. 3 attacks from the sergeant. All hit. 2 wounds. Neither are saved. And the Reavers, 3, 4, 4 plus 5, 4 combat knives. Hitting on 3s. That one didn't roll, it just fell out of my hand. Wounding on 4s. These are all 4-up saves. So that's another 3 killed. They get to fight back. 1 hit, 1 wound, which is saved. So these guys get to consolidate 3 inches, which negates the advantage of that objective for the Necrons. So it means that it's cancelled out, nobody scores any points. Now, where does that leave us? It actually leaves us in exactly the same position. So 4 to the Space Marines and 3 to the Necrons at the end of battle round number 5. Does the battle continue? Yes, it does. Going into battle round number 6. So movement for the Necrons for turn number 6 is literally the Annihilation Barge to move up to get into charge range, because it can't actually shoot at anything because everything else is in combat. We've then got to do reanimation protocols for both of the warrior units. So there's 6 for this unit. And we get back 2. And 8 for the other unit. And again, we get back 2. There we go. That's the end of movement. So, as I say, shooting, there is no shooting from the Necron side. So we are straight into the fight phase. No, we're not. We're straight into the charge phase. So the barge is going to charge into the captain. Terrible. Command point gives us a 6. I think he needs a 7, but I might be wrong. You know what? No, that's enough. So he is now in combat. Okay. Now it's the fight phase. So let's do the Necron warriors first. 3, 7. These are all going into the Hellblaster. Four wounds, 3 up saves, I should say. Okay, so the sergeant takes a wound. He's going to hit back. Re-rolling for the captain. Oh, so he gets 2 hits, 2 wounds. Both are saved. Okay, now the Annihilation Barge is going to attack the captain. 3 attacks, hitting on 6s. No hits. then the Overlord will attack the Captain again. 3 attacks hitting on 2s. He gets 2 hits. Strength is 5, so toughness is 5 also, so 4s to wound. 2 wounds. Sorry, 2, yeah, 2 wounds. Minus 2 AP, I should say. So, 3 up makes it a 5 up save, and he fails both, so that puts him down to 2 wounds. Now, how many wounds does an Annihilation Barge have? He has 8. Right, we're going to put all of the Captain's attacks into the Annihilation Barge. Hitting on 3s, re-rolling, 3 hits. Strength is 8, so 3s to wound, 2 wounds. Save on the barge is a 4 up. Saves 1, 1 goes through. D3 damage. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, so the barge is down to 7 wounds. Over to this side. Sergeant first. Necron's going first. What am I talking about? 1 hit. 1 wound, which is saved. Sergeant. 2 hits. 1 wound. Not saved. And then we've got the Reavers. Hitting on 3s. Look at that. That's pretty good. Only 2 missed. Wounding on, whoops. Wounding on 4s. 4 up saves. That is enough to wipe out that unit completely. Okay, that is the end of Necron turn number 6. So Space Marines turn 6 for movement, and what we're going to do is we're going to move this Sergeant. He's going to just move around 6 inches, just round to there. These guys are staying on the objective. Again, it cancels out the Necrons being on this objective. That's it for movement. Shooting, we have got 4 bolt pistol shots. These are all going into the Necron warriors. So we get 3 hits, 2 wounds, and 1 goes through. Sergeant into the, this is a fight phase, Sergeant into the Necron warriors, 3 hits, re-rolling, 4s to wound, 1 wound, 4 up save, not saved. And then the Captain, again 4 attacks into the barge, all hit, 3s to wound, 3 wounds, minus 3 AP, minus 3 AP. Can't save it because he's got a 4 up save. So, D3 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drops him down to 3 wounds. He's then going to hit back, 3 attacks, hitting on 6s. Gets 1. Strength 5, so 4 to wound. Does not wound. And then the Overlord. 3 attacks, hitting on 2s. 2 hits. 4 to wound. 1 wound. Minus 2 AP. needed to roll a 5. So that's another 1 damage off of the captain. Puts him down to 1 wound remaining. Now I did stupidly miss out the charge phase. I was going to try and charge that sergeant into the annihilation barge, so I'm going to do that now. And I need to roll an 8. And we get a 6. I'm going to command point it, and we get a 10. So that does put him into contact with that barge. And then in the fight phase, he would have had 3 attacks, re-rolling for the captain. And he gets 1 hit, 5 to wound, does not wound. Okay, that's the end of Space Marine's turn number 6. Does the game continue? Yes, it does. So turn number 7, final turn. This guy gets a wound back. And reanimation protocols for 5 Necron warriors. And we get 1 back. Whoops. There we go. No movement, so it all comes down to this combat. So we have got 6 attacks into the Hellblaster, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, with a 3-up save, takes another wound, and he fights back, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, with a 4-up. Manages to knock that Necron warrior back out again. Okay, Overlord, 3 attacks, hitting on 2s. Wow, that's pretty poor. Wounding on 4s, cocked, wounding on 4s, that's wounded, minus 2 AP, so a 5-up, not saved, 1 damage. He's got 1 damage. Command point reroll. Yeah, because he needs to stay alive. And it's failed anyway. Okay, so that is Slay the Warlord. Move him back in. And we've got the Annihilation Barge into the Sergeant. 3 attacks, 1 hit, wins on a 3. 3-up save, cocked, 3-up save. Not saved, Sergeant is down to 1. 3 attacks from the Sergeant. 5s to wound. 4-up save. Okay, so Barge takes 1 more wound. Whew. Right, that is the end of the Necron turn number 7. Space Marines are next. And I think we need to go all out with the Reavers. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the Reavers 6 inches, which puts them around about there. And we are then going to do shooting. So we've got 2 shots into the barge, 2 hits, 1 wound, not saved, so that's down to 2. And then same here, 2 shots into the warriors, 2 hits, 1 wound, not saved. There's 1 more down. I'm then going to try and charge the Reavers. That is not enough, so we need a 5 or higher, and we get it. Excellent. So these guys are now in combat with the barge. So, Space Marines fight phase. 3 attacks into the Necron warriors, all hit, 1 wound, which is saved. They get to fight back. 4 hits, 2 wounds, both saved. The Overlord is going to attack the Hellblaster, 3 attacks, 1 hit, strength 5, toughness 4, so 1 wound. Whoops, come back. 5 up save, not saved. He is slain. Okay then, so let's get through the Sergeant first. 3 attacks, 2 hits, 2 wounds, 1 goes through, drops him down to 1. And then we've got 3, 4 for the Sergeant. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, and then all of these attacks are from the Reavers into the barge. Need bigger hands. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 5s. And a 4 up save. Right, so 2 wounds go through. Okay, so that's 2 wounds go through. That destroys the barge. Does it explode? No, it does not. So he is now out of action. That is the end of turn number 7. So what we would do is we would consolidate with those guys. And there endeth the game. So let's just do some totting up of points and we'll see. So at the end of the game, it's 7-all. So ultimately, those 2 lists were pretty well matched. The scenario seemed to work quite well in terms of points accrual, but it's a draw. So there you go, that's my first run through with Necrons. Obviously I know, missed a few rules here and there, got some basic stuff wrong, but it's all about learning, isn't it? So there you go, that's the end of the game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.